Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in today's episode of Should You Summon, we'll discuss the newest unit that was released to celebrate our 4th anniversary for the Global for Another Eden. Again, happy anniversary WFS, Another Eden, and happy anniversary to all of you who have supported the game, played the game through at any point, or continue playing the game. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So obviously, the focus of the banner is on the newest unit, and it's pronounced Iphi, not Iphi, and I do apologize for that in my, quick review of Scott's live stream. I did mispronounce the unit's name, so Iphi, or Iphi, I guess. That being said, the first banner we're going to talk about are the Fateful banners. And so these are a one-time only. And this is a celebration of the 4th anniversary banner. So again, with Fatefuls, you can only use 1,000 paid stones or your Heavens ticket if you do subscribe to the paid Heaven subscription. So Iphi is obviously featured on the 10th pull, as well as the previous 2 anniversary units, Eva as well as Melissa. Each of those are pulls 1 to 9, 0.03%, 0.02% respectively for the 5-star. And on the 10th pull, you do have a 10% chance of each of the 3, and therefore 70% chance is divided over the rest of the units available in the game as a 5-star. Note that, again, with Fatefuls, they do have all the newest units. Ace Nakoko, they'll have Alter Hismina, so on and so forth. And we can scroll all the way down. Unfortunately, as you know, with all... Ultra Sikia. With all banners, they do have a chance of 3.5s, 4s, and unfortunately bots, Rebels, Sisters, and Knights. And of course, you do have the chance of getting her normal Fateful, which again is the same thing. This one though has a much better chance of getting Iphi in the 4.5, 0.4% for the 4-star. 0.8 for the 5, and again a 10% chance on the 10th pull for the featured unit. The 90% again is divided over all the other 5-stars in the game, and you can see same selection as the 4th anniversary banner, although the odds are much higher, being that you're only dividing 90% of the total pool as opposed to only 70%, and against bots, Rebels, Sisters, and Knights. So just quickly discussing the 2 Fatefuls here. If you are planning to use paid stones and you're aiming for Iphi, then I would recommend going with the normal ally encounter Iphi Fateful first. And the reason for that is being that she does have a 0.4% chance on pulls 1 to 9, as well as a 0.8% chance of the 5-star on pulls 1 to 9. Overall, you do have a much better chance of getting Iphi as a unit. However, if you are really new to the game and you still want a shot of getting Melissa, Year 2 Global Unit, as well as Eva, Year 3 Global First Unit, then of course you will have to summon on the kind of split banner where they're 10% each. So keep that in mind and gauge your expectations in terms of the odds if you decide to go one or the other. I do also realize that these are all paid stones, and so not everyone's going to be sending 1k, 3k here, and so on and so forth. So keep that in mind that there is competing capital as usual. All the banners have been amazing. You still have the Star Dream if you haven't purchased that already, and there are other Fatefuls that we will be discussing as well. Note that because it is a 4th anniversary banner, we do have Eva featured here as well. Same exact featured banner as last year, 0.4 pulls 1 to 9, 0.8% of the 5-star, and a 10% flat chance. I won't scroll down. And Melissa is a unique one in that you can just 100% get her on the 10th pull. So very similar to the encounter Nakoko, where you guarantee to get Melissa if you want to chase down units such as that. And after all that, we'll go to Iphi's actual banner. So, as most of you have thought of, Iphi is an Antiquity character, I'm assuming, and so she is a split banner with Philily, being that Philily is not only a shadow unit, which is shade unit, which I'm sure Iphi can help boost. Philily is also from the Antiquity era, and so 0.4 and 0.8 respectively. So there is a slight boost in rate up for the 10th pull on the 4.5 of each of those. So if you are pulling, keep in mind that 10 pulls will give you a slightly better edge on the 10th pull for either unit if you are aiming for those two units. Being that this is a free banner, not all the newest units are here, so bear that in mind. Although you still have Flam, Eva, and so on and so forth, I believe you won't have AS Nakoko, for example, and Ultra Sikia will also not be here. Let's see if Moonlight... Okay. Note that Moonlight is not here either, so I don't see Moonlight Hizmena here. So that is a big loss as well. So the last 3 units aren't featured here from what I can see. And so let's talk about Iphi. So if you missed the live stream and you missed my video yesterday, Iphi is our first shade setter, and she can set it with a move. So right off the bat, that allows you to do 1 turn shade DPS AFs. Now, first of all, you can ask, hey Will, what's the big deal with shade stats? I mean, how many shade units are there other than Philily? I mean, you have a few other units. You can use some of the complex dreams. I mean, like things like that. Are they really that big of a deal? And my answer is, well, not that big a deal in terms of restrictions of units, being that A, you have AS Nakoko that can change everyone to shade because she will react with any elemental zone. Iphi can change everyone to her own zone with the move, so that makes her ridiculous off the bat. Now, not only that, she can set mental focus for your staff users, which will be helping to power up damage from herself as well as other staff DPS. She has a specialized lunatic move that's not only does extra damage while she's in lunatic state, it is the risk taker version, which does self damage. She now uses her other 3 units up front as tanks, and they take double damage. In exchange though, when they take fatal damage, they automatically revive at full HP, restores all statuses, don't consider them as KO, and so their attacks will still come through during that turn, which is amazing. And each time they come back to life, now you stack a Seance stack on Iphi, in which case she powers up her moves in terms of either having her buffs do a lot more buffing, or her debuffs doing more debuffs, or other effects like that. So in terms of her buffs, she can go 50 power instant speed up, as well as kickback immunity, and if you have enough Seance stacks, which is at least 2, now you're going to get 100, 100, 100. So capped boosting, very similar to Alumage. And in terms of her debuff, she has the move that does 35, 35, 35 power instant speed down, as well as type resist down, and with a couple of stacked seances, you can now get 50, 50, 50 triple debuff. You've probably caught this on some of my earlier videos. 50, 50, 50 triple debuff is very rare in the game, other than having Orlea or even Kid with max stacks. I think Nakoko AS can do that as well. Very few people can go 50, 50 or better. I think Byakuya AS can do it as well. They need setup, of course. So the fact that she has a massive boost, a massive debuff, ability to apply pain and poison, ignores resistance, is very similar to Horai Jewel, although it doesn't apply mental focus in the same move. Her shade attack does XL3 times AoE, guaranteed crit, and ignores target defenses. And so a couple of my subscribers did point out that ignore target defenses mean reduce magic defense or elemental defense to 0. So either way, that just means she's going to hit harder, hit guaranteed crit in her own zone. Obviously, Shade Zone does increase Shade attacks by 30%. And remember that she can change everyone to Shade, so your whole party can do 1-turn Shade AFs. And so you can do Shade Neptune, or Shade Icicle Zorge, or Shade whatever the heck you want. And again, she can support both physical and magical units, although her mental focus obviously is a preference to magical or staff-bearing units. I'm sure she has other abilities too. We don't even know if she has an end of turn buff or anything else that makes her ridiculous. But the fact that she can bring people back to life, the fact that she can set a zone with a move, the fact that she can do a ton of damage, and the boosts, debuffs. If you're wondering how I think about her DPS, I imagine that being a global first, I expect her DPS to be in line with something like AS Chio. So AS Chio's mod percent is, I believe, it's 1600% with Riki Contrast. Now, I have not summoned for Iphi yet, and nor have I seen any videos out since this unit is extremely new. But the fact that they added the guarantee crit hit with her DPS move, as well as, oh, by the way, Elemental Break Shade, as well as the fact that it ignores target defenses, leads to believe that she can be used as either a primary or second DPS for Shade teams. In which case, in combination with Mental Focus and the guaranteed crits, I would imagine she can do a ton of damage. So, if you're wondering of whether or not I think you should summon her, I think she is I won't say a must summon. No unit is really a must summon, but I think she's going to add a lot to your team. She is the only shade setter, and so I will prioritize my stones for her if I had recommended her for your roster. Now, the only problem with that, of course, other than the fact that obviously we all want Iphi, is the fact that we have Eva, as well as the upcoming unit, which will be AS Flamelopus, coming up probably in the next update, which is probably a couple weeks from now. We also still have units such as Sukiya, Fireside Cat, Moonlight Flower, and so on and so on. Oh, we don't care about her, but anyways. And my advice to you is, I mean, you do have to make your own decisions as to who you want to prioritize. So just quickly speaking, remember that Iphi is going to be global first. That means that in the near future, she will be released for Japan. Keep in mind that the power levels for this unit should be in line with Japan's power levels, and being that Japan is a few months ahead, we are getting future technology such that she should be extremely powerful and usable for a very long time. Again, the only Shade Zone setter, so either way, if you want to play with Shade Zone teams, this is the only way to do it, essentially. Now, if you want to compare her to the most closest units in the banners, either Eva or Flam AS, then you have to think of it this way. As awesome as Eva is, she's a 1-year-old unit, and I will still say she's very meta. I use her in my Magic DPS or Water DPS teams. She's not bad in any sense at all, and she can still do a ton of damage. But hey, if you're going for shiny new toys, you are going to go for the one that adds the most for your team. Now, I do understand if you are still missing Eva, or you've been playing for a while and you're missing Eva, there is a chance for you to resummon for it. Keep in mind that Eva's banner is shared with the dreaded Tiramisu, just like last year. And if you've seen my summons, you might get flooded with Tiramisu's instead of Eva's, in which case it would be very painful. Just like Iphi, you could get a lot of the lilies, which we all hope we all hit the featured units. But realistically speaking, we only have a certain amount of stones. And in general, I usually recommend newer units over older units, being that we still have very limited information for Iphi. Now, if you want to make further informed decision, you can always wait for more videos to come out. Now, you know I will be summoning for this unit a little bit later on after I finish this video. If I do get her, I will do a 5-star review, and if I'm able to do so, then you can compare kind of what you see and what you like and whether or not you want to add that team. Now, back to Flam AS. Now, if you've watched my Star Dream selection and I had voted Flam as number 1, uncontested, the only reason I recommended her at the time is A, we're talking about the pool before Iphi. We can't select a Star Dream with Iphi. And we also rated her based on her use throughout the game, whether day 1 or day 1000. If you want a massive DPS that's still considered meta, and Flam is considered meta as well, that is something to consider to save for. That is, Flam AS will be coming out in a couple weeks. Now, and don't forget that getting Flam AS, she will also be considered a new unit, as in a recent unit, and so her power levels and abilities will be commensurate with up-to-date power creep as opposed to 1 year ago. So just that alone would edge out Flam AS over summoning for Eva. And I realize they are different units, and I also realize that they work in different ways. However, again, we're all talking about competing capital and what to best utilize your stones for, because, unless you're paying a lot of money or using real money, you only have a limited amount of stones, in which case I'm trying to guide you with my best advice. I do realize that these videos are taken seriously, and so I don't want to lead you down the wrong path. So in summary, if you don't have any of the 3 units, Iphi, Eva, and Flam, I would recommend prioritizing Iphi first. If you really want to save or pull later, you can pull afterwards for either Eva or Flam, depending on your preferences. I left out AS Nakoko or Moonlight Hizmena. Not to say they're not good. I actually think AS Nakoko is an extremely powerful unit and very versatile as well. It's just that I've already discussed those units and their pros and cons in previous Should You Summon videos. And so check my playlist if you want some more detailed information or opinions on those units. Because the reality is, I don't expect most of us to have enough money to summon on 2 or more banners. And if you had decided to summon on those units, you probably would have done so already. So I'm just talking about current banners and then potentially a future one. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of how I ranked Iphi, as well as prioritizing her over other banners in the game. So let me know in the comments below, have you pulled Iphi? Because it's not a matter of if you want to, it's whether or not you have pulled it. How much did it cost you? Were you lucky? Were you unlucky? And another interesting question is, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Because, hey, if you're going for Iphi, you are Team Edward for sure, right? As for myself, I am going to be obviously pulling. I'm actually not sure how much of a budget I'm going to set aside. You will probably see my gloriousness or my, immeasurable ruin over the next couple of hours. And so hopefully you wish me good luck in my attempts to bring this one home. Anyways, other than that, being that this is an in-game update, make sure you update that in the App Store or Play Store. And I don't think there's anything else in the game other than this banner. So all we can do is get our free 1,000 stones. We can collect our increased logins. Don't forget that tomorrow is also Daily Whispers. And so you can opt to wait to summon by pulling your free singles for 10 days. And then your free 5-star at the end of those. And then come back to Iphi if you really want to do so. But I know that most of us don't have a lot of patience for that. Anyways, good luck to everyone summoning, no matter what you're targeting, whether or not it's Iphi, Eva, or maybe a previous banner that's still in the game. Don't forget that if you haven't used your Star Dream, you can still purchase that. And if you really want to round out your collection, make sure you have summoned on the banners you want to before deciding on selecting a Star Dream, no matter what you end up going for. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.